So this is lesson 4.8. It's Algebra 1, and it starts on page 252, and this is about functions and relations. So this little graphic shows inputs into the function machine and how the outputs come in. So we would put in, you put in numbers, and then we get an output there. So just a cute little graphic. So definition that you need to know is relation, and that's a set of x and y coordinates. For instance, 1, which would be the x, and the 3, which would be the y, 2 and 4, 5 and 7. So the relation is a set of x and y coordinates. So each of these is a relation, or it's a set of coordinates. Sorry.
Here in Dodge City, schools from across the state are coming here for state titles, trying to win a basketball championship. And tonight, the Ashland Blue Jays played here, and while their trip wasn't expected, it almost didn't happen. The school was shut down because of those massive wildfires. This is no ordinary basketball court, at least not for this game. That's because one of the teams is dealing with a tragedy. The wildfires destroyed dozens of homes in Clark County, home of the Ashland Blue Jays. No one knows that better than cheerleader Charlie Gibson.
We lost our house in the fire.
Before the game, we caught up with her at a pep rally, pumping up the basketball team. The scene was much different a few days ago. Ashland was a ghost town. Mandatory evacuations in place because of the wildfire. But beyond the fire, Gibson's focus right now is on something else.
Honestly, I can say it could be worse because we've got so much support from the community.
Saying this is just a game is saying that the wildfire that destroyed so much was just a fire. The town of Ashland needs a win. There is already a blank space sitting on the sign leading into town, just begging for bragging rights of another state title. The Ashland Blue Jays really needed a win tonight, and that would get them to the semifinals. But unfortunately, those games just wrapped up a few
So we're going to be driving to Kansas City. I might get that. It's supposed to be, you know.
Shit, I keep spelling that, damn it. You want to put me in a car seat?
Well, it's not a car seat, it's a pad
Oh.
that fits on there.
Oh.
It just covers it, and it's about that
Oh.
thick.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's the pad, not the.
No.
It looked like a booster seat.
it's just the.
Oh, I'm like, you're gonna put. Gosh,
God, you're a mess. What'd you spill?
I don't
Oh,
know.
it's just a remote.
I know I got Cheerios on my.
Can you order it? It's on.
Oh.
It's Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It's not that much. It doesn't work.
Except now, I don't know what happened here. I made this small. I don't know what happened.
What'd you do?
It's small and I can't see. I can't tell which one. My glasses. I gotta put. I don't know how to make it.
Oh.
And the county emergency management office is saying if you don't have to be in Clark County, don't go there. There's too many emergency personnel out on the road.
Sorry.
Right now, we're in Dodge City.
I didn't do anything. But so I'm dropping everything.
Earlier today, our studio was filled with volunteers manning a phone bank, taking lots of donations. And you can also make a donation at any billing store from now to March 14th. Just ask the cashier to round up your bill to the nearest dollar. You can make a larger donation as well. The money will go to the Red Cross, which is providing food, water, and more to the people fighting those fires.
This one isn't.
What?
This one isn't Prime.
The damage there in Clark
It says up there on the top. I put Prime. Only show me Prime stuff. That's all right.
I don't know if it is. Let me see.
Up in the corner says order 2 days of Prime.
Let me see. Well, I don't. Shipping may not get it here in time.
We're not leaving for 10 days.
Also today, the governor
It's gonna come in 10 days.
making it
Oh.
easier for people to deliver large
We'll just see what happens.
hay, fencing, and other materials to that area. And stay with Fake News for continuing coverage of those wildfires across Canada.
want cheesecake?
No.
Pushing back against efforts to pass a law that will allow concealed carry on campuses starting July 1st. A bill committee would not only retain campus carry, but also strip colleges of the right to make policies about how and where those guns could be carried on campus. A federal judge denied a Kansas man accused of planning to attack Somali.
Oh, it is Prime. It just didn't show up on that one thing.
The judge says Patrick Stein poses a grave danger to the community and must be kept behind bars and is a flight risk. Stein, along with two others, is charged with a plot to blow an apartment building in Garden City where Somali immigrants live. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer says the president has grave concern about the release of classified materials and believes the systems at the CIA are outdated. Spicer was responding to questions about WikiLeaks' disclosure of thousands of documents. He also denounced the founder of WikiLeaks for a previous release of classified materials, which he says has an undetermined national security in the past. President Donald Trump is putting all of his art of the deal skills to the test, giving the hard sell to the Republican plan to replace Obamacare. He's facing a divided Republican Party in addition to Democrats who argue millions will lose their coverage. The White House is relying on House Speaker Paul Ryan to sell the details of the plan.
This is the closest we will ever get to repealing and replacing Obamacare. The time is here, the time is now. This is the moment, and this is the closest this will ever happen.
In addition to some prominent
Damn it, stop it.
lining up against the plan,
Gosh!
American
Just so
Medical
screaming.
Association and the American Hospital Association oppose it. One analyst projects up to 10 million fewer Americans would have health insurance under the plan. Some new legal challenges today to the president's travel ban. Washington State will renew its request to block the original ban, hoping to have that order apply to the revised ban as well. This move comes a day after Hawaii announced its own lawsuit. The Trump administration thinks the revised ban will stand up to Massachusetts is also talking about taking this option. Police in Düsseldorf, Germany say a man was arrested after injuring 5 people with an axe at the main train station.
So this is an important distinction between relation number 1 and relation number 2 here. Relation 1 is a function, and we have 1 in B, 5 in A, 8 in B. Each input has exactly one output. I put in 1 in the machine, I get a B out. I put in 5 and I get an A. I put in 8 and I get a B. So there's one input and one output. Now over here on relation 2, this is not a function because if you look, we have 1B, we have 5A, and then we have 5C. So the same input number 5 gets 2 different answers, and it gets A and it gets C. So that is not a function because you can't have 2 x's. You know, the same x value has to have the same output. And so here it says each input has exactly one output if it's a function, and over here it can't have a different y. The same number can't have 2 different y values. And then this down here talks about the domain and the range. So the domain here was the 1, the 5, and the 8. That's the x. And the range shows the A and the B. Those were the choices that came out. Over here we have 2 domains, 1 and 5, but we had the range was A, B, and C, and it's not a function. So let's say that you had a graph. I had a graphic here, but it disappeared. So if it shows up somewhere, I don't know. So let's say you had something that looked like this, and then you had a line that looked like this. Well, this one, we got 3 points where it's going through the same up and down line, although I didn't draw that a straight line because I can't draw straight lines with my stylus. And this one, there's no, each up and down line only is gone through once. So this is a function. This is not a function because there's more, the up and down line goes through more than once. So here's some more examples. This right here is a function because each up and down line is only gone through once. This is a function, the same thing. Each up and down line is only gone through once. This is not a function because right here we have a point here, and we have a point here, and we have a point here. That's not a function. So we call it the vertical line test. I was calling it up and down. And so if the up and down line, the vertical line, it can only go through the graph is a function if no vertical lines that hit the graph are gone through more than once. And so you can see here there's only one point on that up and down line. So again, this is another example of the vertical line test. They're just using a ruler to show you. The vertical line can be anywhere on this. It doesn't have to be just where the graph line is. But the vertical line only passes across this ruler once, so this would be a function. This is another example, and we can see do these lines cross more than once. So we have one point here. Let me get a different color. 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here, and so this one would be a function. Here it wants you to look at and see which one of these would be a function. Well, here we have 2 points. Here we have 2 points, 1 point, and 2 points. So the answer would be D on this one. One more on this. This is the vertical line test. Again, it's the Y up and down. This one passes the test because it's not passing on any of the same vertical lines. This one fails because it passes here and it passes through the line there. So that one is a fail. So some terminology is function notation, and this is where we have F is the name of the function. It could be, I mean, you could say G or D or whatever you wanted, but anyhow, we use F as the name of the function. X tells you what, this is the input value, equals, and this tells you what the function does. This function multiplies X, the input, by 2. A little bit different, we have the input value, and over here, this whole thing on this side is the output value. And so this format, Fx, is called function notation. Now this equation is xy notation, and we've already worked with this. That's where x equals 2x minus 3. So notice the difference. This is function notation, this is xy notation. And again, here's another example of function notation down here. So this is how to evaluate a function rule. And to evaluate a function rule, you substitute the value in for x and you solve for y. So we're going to look at, this is on the xy format, and x is 2. So this is what you've done before. You're substituting, sorry, I have a bad cold. You're substituting in the 2 for the x, and then you're just solving. You've done that. You can do that. Now we're going to evaluate functions using the function notation. And we're going to do the same thing. You're going to substitute in the value of x. They'll give you the value of x, and you're just going to fill it in. So this one we have f of x equals 2x plus 4, and x equals 5. So you replace the variable x with 5. You replace the x at the f and x side with 5. You replace the other x right there with 5, and you basically solve it, and then you would say that the answer is function of 5 equals 14. So again, evaluating functions for each function, evaluate f is 0, or O, sorry. F1 half, for f, evaluate f of 0, f1 half, and f negative 2. And then here's the equation is fx equals 8 plus 4x. So substitute each value for x and evaluate. So f is 0. We take this value, we put it into this equation, and then we solve it. And we did the same thing with the 1/2, put that there, solve it, and we did it with the 2. And so we end up with 8, 10, and 0. So here, again, to evaluate a function, we have fx equals 4x plus 5 when y equals -2. And so we replace this is when y, oh, it should say when x. Sorry, I just realized that I did that wrong. Wrote that wrong. Okay, sorry. So we have, we replace the x's, so we have f2 equals, and then we replace that, so we had 4 times 2, which is 8, plus 5, and we end up with 13. And then now the linear function, if it's in the form of fx equals mx plus b. So we got it into the proper format. Here's another example, and this one they just threw, it's like g. Like I said, it doesn't have to be f. It doesn't really matter. When the function g, x equals x squared, when x equals -3, we replace the x with the 3's. We end up with the answer is 9. -3 equals -3 squared. Work that out. And then it says, though, this is interesting, this is not a linear function if it's not in the fx equals mxb format. Or our equation here is not in the mx plus b format at all. So this is not a function. So here, again, we're going to evaluate a function again. And we have fx equals 2x minus 3 when x equals -2. So we have it in the proper format. And we have fx equals 2, that's what I just said, minus 3. We replace all the x's with the -2's. We're going to end up with 2 times -2 minus 3. That's going to be 4 minus 3, and that's going to be -7. And then we say when x is -2, the function of x is -7. And that is in proper format, so it is a function. Now let's graph. It's fx equals -1/2 x plus 3. And so we don't have to do anything here because we already have, we can use this to get our rise and our run. So down here we go to, because our equation is already in the proper format. So we can do, we know that the y-intercept is going to be 3, and that's right there, the blue dot. I know that I'm going to go down 1, because it's -2, and over 2. Now, this was a little confusing when you look at it, because the negative is written like this. Oh, sorry, it's... And so you want to make both of them negative. In this case, it's just -1 here, and this is just regular 2. It's not a negative. And so it's down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. In this example, we have fx equals 4x minus 3. We're in, this works fine. We don't need to know, this is just wants you to graph it here. So we're going to our y-intercept is -3, which starts here. And then we're going to go up 4, and then we know that the run is going to be 1 because it's just assumed there. And so it's up, sorry, didn't mean to do that. It's up 4 over 1, up 4 over 1, up 4, and then again we can draw a line through it, but my lines don't work too well on here. Here's another example. We have y equals -3x plus 1, and y equals -4x plus 2. It looks like I wrote 2 equations here. So I worked this one out right here, and we have I didn't work that one out. I did this one, the second one. I worked out this one right here. So this starts at 1. Okay, so we are going to start with our y value of 2. We're going to go down 1 and across 4. Down 1, across 4. Okay? Now this shows you that the range is the values here and the domain is the values going this way. So let me show you how that. So the domain is the set of all input values and the range is the set of all output values. So the domain here is -4, -2, -0, and -3. These were all input and all the range is all the output, -3, 6, 3, 5, and 7. Probably need to remember those, kind of commit those to memory. Your assignment, well this is the monarch migration here, and in the book it says that monarch butterflies migrate from northern United States to Mexico, and that 2,000-mile trip takes about 40 days. That's pretty remarkable. They can fly that fast. So on page 255 to 258 you have numbers. You're going to do numbers 13 through 18, 22 through 24, 28 through 30, 40 through 42, 46, 47, 55, 62 to 78 even, and quiz 3.